For years, parents trusted the candy man. Teenagers disappeared, and no one realized the truth until it was too late. Dean Corll was not someone people feared. In fact, for many years, people trusted him. He lived quietly in Houston, Texas. He worked in a family-owned candy business. He was polite, soft-spoken, and rarely drew attention to himself. Children knew him as the Candy Man. Parents saw no reason to be suspicious. But behind this harmless image was one of the most disturbing criminal cases in American history. Early life and background. Dean Corll was born in 1939. Very little about his early life suggested what he would later become. As an adult, he worked alongside his mother in a candy manufacturing business. The company produced sweets that were sold locally, and Corll often handed out candy to children in the neighborhood. This behavior made him familiar, and familiarity created trust. He lived alone or with roommates and frequently moved residences, which later complicated investigations. At the time, nothing about his lifestyle appeared unusual. Building access to teenagers. During the late 1960s and early 1970s, Dean Corll began spending time with teenage boys. He offered them alcohol. He hosted gatherings. He gave them money and gifts. Two teenagers became closely involved with him. Their names were David Brooks and Elmer Wayne Henley. Both were underage. Both were vulnerable. And both would later admit that Corll manipulated them over time. At first, Brooks and Henley believed Corll was simply generous. Eventually, they became part of something far darker. The disappearances began. Between 1970 and 1973, teenage boys across Houston began disappearing. Some vanished after parties. Some never returned home from normal outings. Some were last seen with friends. Many families reported them missing, but the cases were treated individually. There was no centralized database, no pattern officially acknowledged, no sense of urgency. Police often assumed the boys had run away. As a result, the disappearances did not receive the attention they deserved. What was happening in secret? While families searched for answers, Dean Corll was committing crimes in private. He used multiple locations, including apartments and a boat shed. He relied on secrecy, isolation, and the assistance of his accomplices. The victims were lured with promises of parties, money, or safety. There were no witnesses. There were no survivors. And for years there was no reason for police to suspect him. Dean Corll operated completely unnoticed. Why no one stopped him? Several factors allowed the crimes to continue. The victims were young. Many came from unstable backgrounds. Some were labeled as runaways. Law enforcement did not prioritize the cases. Families were left without answers. Dean Corll remained invisible. The case ends by accident. In August of 1973, everything changed. Elmer Wayne Henley brought a young man to Corll's home. That night, Henley realized he was in danger as well. In a moment of panic, Henley shot and killed Dean Corll. Police were called. At first, officers believed it was a simple homicide. They were wrong. The discovery. After Corll's death, Henley and Brooks confessed. They led police to burial sites. What investigators found was overwhelming. Dozens of victims were uncovered. Many families finally learned what had happened to their sons. Dean Corll was responsible for at least 28 murders. The true number may be higher. Aftermath. David Brooks and Elmer Wayne Henley were arrested. Both received long prison sentences. Dean Corll never stood trial. Many questions were never answered. Some victims were never identified. The case left a permanent scar on the city of Houston. Why this case still matters. The Candyman case is disturbing not only because of the crimes, but because of how long they went unnoticed. It exposed failures in how missing children were treated. It showed how trust can be exploited. And it proved that some of the most dangerous individuals do not look dangerous at all. Closing, Dean Corll lived in plain sight. He was trusted. He was overlooked. And for years no one saw what was happening. This was the Candyman's disturbing case. For more mind-capturing and interesting true crime stories, click on the subscription button and like the videos.